Well, welcome everybody to Ero's F3 Championship. It's time to get going in our 11th round of the season, and here we are heading out for the very first time to the Imola track. First time for this division, first time for me as well as a commentator, and very much looking forward to this one. My name is Webbo, and if you would like to, you can follow me on Twitter at WebboRed5. I hope you have subscribed to the Ero channel already, and you'll be feeling generous and will consider liking the video as well today before you head away. But the championship standings right now, after 10 rounds, sees Konis leading the championship on 152 points, and a long way back is the second place driver of Pangrio for the Alfa Romeo team on 106. Just three back after a good result last week was Edzak winning last week out and amassing so far 103 points, so third place for Edzak. And then the two Ferrari drivers of Bangst and Maciek, Bangst on 88, Maciek on 71. And then we have Pachuca in the second McLaren in the sixth place there on 67 points. As far as constructors are concerned, McLaren lead the way, as you would well expect, on 219 points, significantly further up the field, 60 points further up the field than the Ferraris. Then in third place is the AlphaTauri, and the Alfa Romeo is in fourth, just 20 points separating those two, 140 and 120 respectively. But we are on our way to get going shortly. You can see the cars have arrived in the old school looking paddock here. Giroud says, who's watching already, Giroud says we don't talk about the last race. It's kind of my job, my friend, but thank you for the weather forecast. Dry race, that should make things slightly less complicated for the drivers who are getting used to this track out here at the moment with the rest of us. I see Bananas is first out there, so we'll look forward to that one. Welcome to everybody joining us on the stream, of course. Do let me know who you're here for, who you're here to support. If it's yourself, tell me that you're here to support yourself. That'd be great. First out of the circuit is Bananas. So we will watch him just warm up his tyres, get himself together and ready to go. But that gives you the championship standings anyway, and looking forward to another strong, entertaining race from the boys in F3. Konis returns. Edzak, we're looking to have a great race again, on some strong form lately. We don't have Pangrio today, unfortunately, so we will he'll be hoping for poorer results from the two chasers in the championship, or at least his rivals right now, Konis and Edzak. But Bananas, I think, making his debut here in F3, at least for this season, as far as I'm aware. And he's about to, well, I was going to say start his lap, but he's not happy with the setup, so in he comes. We'll try and find a lap. Often Edzak is one of the first drivers out there. There we go, it's actually Profchen beginning the lap, and just starting off now. We go past the pit complex and head towards turn 2, which is Traguado. So a quick chicane, left, right, and then almost instantly into Tamburello as we speed now towards the Villeneuve chicane. A couple of gears down, and then this is Toza, the hairpin, at the bottom of the hill. We head uphill now towards turn 8, which is Piratella. Beautiful, fast flowing track. Warning for the drivers on track limits there. Then down the hill to Aqua Minerale, which is a double right-hander with a quick left flat out exit, then long drag to Variante Alta over the smooth curbs, but slow through there, just being cautious to avoid those curbs. We head down then to the double left-hander of Ravazza, taken almost as one. Ravazza, and then the final chicane is Variante Bassa, which the drivers are not using on this layout of the track, but it's the first time was a 15.7. Casper in the Aston Martin gets a 15.5, but then Jesper Fay in the white Red Bull, it gets the provisional pole on a 14.7 on these first runs, with Banks in between in the Ferrari on a 14.9. Edzak comes in and does a 16.1, and this track is really going to be a leveler for our drivers. Gonga in the Williams gets a 17.8 on 17.0 on mediums. Pachuca is out there about to finish off his lap. Normally good in qualifying, a 14.6. Very good in qualifying, in fact. There he goes, right up there into a fabulous provisional pole. Konis is a little way back on the lap. Let's see who else is finishing their lap right now. Is it Ivan? No, he's just beginning. So let's go and watch with Konis, our championship leader, and see exactly where he finds himself relative to the rest of the field. Navigating the tricky Variante Alta down into Ravazza, takes a large amount. It's almost like a reverse Lesmo section in Monza, and a sprint then to the line for our championship leader Konis, and crosses the line of 14.5 very quickly, up and on the pace for Konis. Beautiful stuff from him. Is that Ivan Belloff? Is he about to finish his lap? No. Well, going through Variante Alta anyway. Down the hill now. Final sector into Ravazza. Beautiful exit curb painting scheme. Really like the Italian tricolore. But Ivan Belloff doesn't want to set a lap right now. That one didn't work out. I think Maciek is probably on a cool down. But on this relatively short track of Imola, he can probably double stack his times, especially on the medium tyres. No, this one is a slow lap. So not on a lap right now. What about Casper? Just starting off. No, slowing. This is the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, so named. Hey to Frederick, who's tuned in. Nice to hear from you. Good to have you with us. Do let us know who your favourite driver is today. There's somebody that you're cheering on specifically. Bananas back out there and attacking a lap. Grateful that the Red Bull didn't get in his way too much. Traguaro feeds into Tamburello. Then the Villeneuve, the very fast Villeneuve chicane, getting it all kinds of wrong, Bananas boy, but he needs to set this lap regardless. For me, the Villeneuve chicane very similar to the middle of the track in Melbourne, the 6-7. Treacherous corner I can never get right. And we go through Tosa then. This is Acqua Minerale over the curbs. Fairly generous curbs in Imola, fairly high grip, but they are quite high, especially there in Variante Alta. Bananas boy then down to the Ravazza double left-hander, and out, hugging the pit wall for minimum distance to the line, and a P7 15.9 is the next lap out there for him. What about Racing Gus? Racing Gus has invalidated, unfortunately. Waffles, though, out on a lap. Let's watch with Waffles. See his first sector. It will read as purple usually. No, he's sufficiently into the session for the purple to not be an issue. So to the highest point of the circuit here, into Piratara, and quickly back down the hill. Very confident on the entry into Acqua Minerale is Waffles. He's done his homework. And an invalidation sadly for Waffles, despite looking incredibly quick through there. Be looking to try and improve next time out, but the pressure's on. Now Giroud is out doing a lap, trying to get his first lap in. Looking good so far. Talking up his chances in the Discord chat before the race, and putting the frighteners on people with his predicted pace. He said though that that pace was only achievable and an invalidation sadly, but yes, his optimal pace, 3 out of 30. He's got about a 10% hit rate when it comes to his completing laps. Next out is Ivan Belloff. Through the chicane then. Down to the deceptively slow toes up. Pachuca's staying in the pits right now. Sorry, Kona's staying in the pits, looking for a later run. Got 7.5 minutes remaining of qualifying. Getting the car into the Acqua Minerale. It was good. It looked a little bit slow on the exit, perhaps a little bit laboured. Lots of entry curb into the Variante Alta, and another invalidation sadly for him. Banks goes pole position though, a 14.4. Hopefully the track's starting to improve. Pachuca, however, unfortunately, no improvement this time, out with that invalidation. Casper just starting his lap now. There is the Tamburello left-hander. Through the Tosa corner, comfortably now, and up the hill towards Piratella. Good, smooth delivery of the acceleration through there. Confident on the way in to Minerale, and safely through, although it looked like he was headed for the outer track limits. It's now Variante Alta for Casper. This lap looking good. I know Casper has his fans who often join us. I think Frederick is one of them. So through there, and I'm not all just got out of the throttle in time. This lap ruined. Didn't head into the pits though, unusually after a ruined lap. So perhaps feels like that time has gone. Giroud has gone from the session. We've lost Giroud. It's on the exit of this corner. No, it's on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. Giroud has gone from the track. Konis, also our championship leader, has retired from the session. Konis out of the track. Here we've got obviously a missing front wheel, and disaster, frankly, disaster for him. Although he's got a P2, the mechanics will be able to repair the car in time, but won't go any better than a 14.5, and cannot defend his position as he stands. I don't think Casper's going to be able to put a lap in here, is he? So Giroud saying that was predictable. Well, you did predict that you invalidate a lot. I don't know about crashing, but looks like Bananas has gone from the session and is hoping to get back in. So we'll see if that can be helped by the host. Kaizachi's joined us late to the party and has got into the habit of another invalidation. Very, very easy round here, though. I certainly wouldn't criticise the drivers for doing that. It's not a simple task. Now Waffles with all the pressure on because he really needs to make this lap count. Purple first sector for Waffles. He has prodigious speed normally, but with the pressure, we'll see if he can handle it. Now into Peratera. Oh, just slightly over the track limits and an invalidation for Waffles, and now that means it's one shot qualifying for Waffles left. Now let's go back to Casper, who I think is running a lap right now. Just missed the sector time. Nicely again into Aqua Minerale, avoiding the temptation. He put counter steer on there on the way out and avoiding the temptation to push too hard, power on too early. Purple middle sector for Casper. This one could be special. Looked a little hesitant on the gear, but maybe that was a slight bit of lag on my end. Through Rivazza. Just needs to get the acceleration right here, and sadly Casper, another issue on his lap, will not go any quicker. Let's ride with Edzak then, who is coming towards the Villeneuve chicane. Very slow in the second part. I think losing time through that one. Well, he's slightly over his first lap. Edzak into the corner. Wow, very close again through Toza. Now it's Aqua Minerale and doing well through here. Over the yellow curbs of the Variante Alta, and now it's just foot flat to the bulkhead, and we go down to Rivazza. Good entry. How's his exit? It's not great. I think he touched the sausage curbs on the middle of the corner, and he's in fact slowed down. Doesn't want to complete this lap, and I'm not quite sure what that one's all about. What's the tactic behind doing that? Rather than pitting or going at full speed. But Pachuca then on his lap now, about to enter Aqua Minerale. Again, nicely through there, confident with the straightening of the car, and Pachuca is under his time. It's a purple middle sector. He's looking to try and gain 2/10 to get pole position here, helping out his championship leading teammate as well by getting a car ahead and getting a friendly car near him on the circuit. But Pachuca is here for the glory run in qualifying. Will this one be pole position? It will not. He just slipped back slightly, but P2 for Pachuca at this stage of qualifying. I don't think he's got time to get another super quick lap in. Yes, Buffet on a lap. I don't know, is Kaizachi just finishing one? No, it's his teammate Waffles who's just gone through to start his final lap. So let's see, is Ivan Belloff still running? Yes, he is. On the way out of Rivazza, about to finish off his lap here. Ivan Belloff, a 10th place start, and he'll be hoping one person goes quicker, I think. So we've got a Red Bull attacking Rivazza as well now. Yes, Buffet headed for the line. This is it, 21 seconds to go. It's a big improvement. It's up to P2 for Yes Buffet in the Red Bull, demoting Pachuca and Konis. The McLaren's down one lap. Where is Profchen? Profchen for the line. It's a good improvement. It's nearly 4/10, and it's P6 for Profchen. Kaizachi goes P8. Further back there, I think we've got Racing Us trying to get his first completed lap in. This one should be good enough, and it's a P6 for Racing Us. Did it right at the death of the session. Banks, though, is he going faster? He is not at this stage, so misses out. Waffles finally gets a lap in, and it's P5. Beautiful stuff from the Haas driver. Waffles in P5. Where is Edzak? I think Edzak's gone from the session, so we might be Ivan Belloff now coming on down into the final sector of the track. Accelerating back towards the pit lane. No new time from him. What about Casper though? He's a quarter of a second up on his time so far through Ravazza, just holding on. Beautiful stuff as we head towards the line again across the advertising hoardings, and it's a P5 for Casper. Brilliant last ditch attempt there. I've got Prof Chen finishing a lap as well. Can he promote himself above P8 in the Williams? Not on this one, not on this occasion. Not happy with that. Down there, I think just finishing off their laps now. Just the Haas driver, Waffles, just across the line, and I think that's our session done with Banks, Jesper Fay, and then the McLarens. Your starting order. Giroud didn't manage to set a time and will start at the back of the track. Gonga in 14th. Ivan Belloff, the only qualifier on medium tyres in these final laps. But a hard fought and excellent end to our qualifying session here in Imola. Very impressive from the drivers. Very, very impressive indeed. I think we did a great job on a very new track for the drivers here, and it's first race in Ero's F3 season. The fastest time then for Banks, Polish driver in the Ferrari, Jesper Fay in the Red Bull, getting second place just by 0.023 of a second. Still less than a tenth away was Pachuca's McLaren. Konis just over a tenth. Those McLarens incredibly close to each other in time. Then Casper in the Aston Martin. Waffles, Racing Gus, Prof Chen, Edzak, Kaizachi make out your top 10. Then with free choice of tyres, first comes Maciek, Bananas, Belloff, Gonga and Giroud. As I say, we'll start at the back, and we are predicting a dry race at this stage. Fantastic solar array, as we see on the imagery for Imola. But what are your predictions in the chat? I hope you've enjoyed the qualifying. If you have, head out there and press the like button, please. It looks like bright sunshine, sharp shadows, so optimal racing conditions for the drivers as they head out for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. We will, of course, have a formation lap for you. Giroud liking the view from the back of the formation lap. But we're about to get underway, of course, with our formation lap now. Let's see what tyres people have chosen. Interestingly, Bananas Boy heading for soft tyres off the start. So Giroud at the back in the Red Bull, enjoying the white livery for this month. Gonga we didn't get to see much of in qualifying, so I'll try and make sure he gets on screen later on. Gonga P14, then Ivan Belloff in the AlphaTauri here in 13th. Bananas in an Alpine. Maciek, his pole position, teammate Banks getting a lot more out of the session, but Maciek in a good place to start the race. P11 on medium tyres, so the lead medium runner is Maciek. Kaizachi getting 10th place, and these drivers obviously hoping for points I've no idea what to expect from this race in terms of qualifying, in terms of overtaking, and in terms of their ability to navigate without getting safety cars. I'm kind of expecting safety cars. It's a new track, it's a narrow track, and lots of places to get caught out. Racing us here in 7th with Prof Chen behind him. Waffles late in the session, one single complete lap, one valid lap completed, I should say, and he got P6. Casper with the fan club with us in P5, and then the McLaren's championship leading Konis looking to drive a conservative and race point consolidating kind of a race. Needs a good points finish, but not much more than that at this stage. Jesper Fay in 2nd, and of course Bangst, our pole position driver. The final car just reaching the starting grid now, and will be underway for you very shortly indeed. We've got green lights, and hopefully we will be all good to go. Here we go then. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, Ero's F3, round 11 is go, and Bangst away nicely from the start. A big jump start, I think, from Racing Us, who just needs to get ahead of the rest of the grid and consolidate the damage caused. We've got 3 wide into the first corner. Not quite, but it's Pachuca looking aggressive. Racing Us having to just sit in 4th place after that jump start, I think, with our championship leader down 1 place. Edzak dropping down the field against Prof Chen further back, but Bangst holds on. Jesper Fay holds on to 2nd place, and Pachuca in 3rd as they started, but it was Racing Us with the drive-through. With the jump start. Edzak down to 8th. I'm talking about Edzak because he's had a late charge in the championship recently, and will look to have a better run. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a stationary, and now out of the race. Haas car. It's Kaizachi over there in the exit of Piratella. Kaizachi out of the race, and unfortunately that means a VSC, but hopefully we'll just make do with a single VSC. So in terms of penalties, it was a drive-through for Racing Us. He needs to serve that very quickly within 3 racing laps. He put up 4 places as a result. Giroud up 4, up to 11th now. Machik's gone down to 13th, but the rest of the drivers roughly where they started, including our top 2, which will be our top 3 once we get going green once again, with at least once Racing Us serves that drive-through. He can't do it under the VSC. I hope you're enjoying the race so far. A great start from the drivers, and that they still under VSC conditions. Surprising to have this run so long. We got Edzak went into the pits and took this opportunity to get a cheap pit stop. I wonder what tyres he went on. Let's have a quick look. He's trying to go for the hard tyres. Now, again, I don't have a lot of reference points for the degradation on this circuit, but if it is particularly high, this could be an inspired move. We go green flag racing on lap 2, and Bangst having a good half-second gap, 3-second penalty for Pachuca, already running wide on the exit of the Aqua Minerale corner. And we go into Variante Alta now, just for I think the first time under racing conditions. Racing Us looking very aggressive on the back of Jesper Fay. Racing Us really needs to make this one move, but he's sent Jesper Fay sideways. That was completely unnecessary from Racing Us going through Ravazza. He now serves his drive-through penalty after dumping Jesper Fay down to P13, and I'll be very surprised if he avoids a penalty for that one. But as we resume racing action, looks like Konis defending from Edzak, who was very, very close to him. It looks like we're going to get some close racing here. That one was a very clumsy move from Racing Us, and blotting his copybook twice already, and we're only into lap 3 in the race. Edzak just having to live now with the pace of the McLarens ahead of him, but looks like he might be able to get himself back on terms very shortly as the cars go through the Piratella corner. Now Acqua Minerale at the bottom of the hill. Casper running extremely wide. Will pick up a warning if he stayed full throttle through there. But it's Banks from Pachuca and Konis now, followed by Casper, Waffles, Profchen, Giroud up to P7. What a start from Giroud. Definitely got the red mist, and he's angry, presumably mostly with himself through quali, but making absolutely everything out of this particular first 4 laps of the race. Pachuca with the fastest lap, a 17.773, but they'll go much faster than that later in the race. The field's starting to spread out after Edzak's pit stop, and we still have 14 runners after the 4th lap. Up ahead, Konis looking a little bit closer to the back of his teammate than he did the lap before, but Waffles now closer to Casper than Casper is to Konis, and those are the closest battle in the grid, leading with the 3rd placed Konis. As I mentioned before, we've got Racing Us has served his drive through, and he managed to come out in front of Edzak, who is now 7 seconds behind him. So roughly just that actual stopping 4 tyres that Edzak did demoted him further under the VSC. Waffles getting very close on the brakes on the way into Ravazza. And now the DRS open for the drivers, but a little bit of a DRS train forming. Even Pachuca should be able to get DRS over the next detection zone. But now down, heading towards the Villeneuve chicane. No DRS in this section, of course. Casper definitely looking loose on the tyres as Waffles gets up the inside of Toza. Casper, that all started in the Villeneuve chicane, going wide as we saw him do in Acqua Minerale the previous lap. So Casper just struggling to hold onto the car, wants to get away from him, and a little bit of overspeed through the difficult chicanes for him. This time he gets it right. And Konis challenging his teammate now, and might have a look into Ravazza. There's a run down the hill, not a huge amount of speed difference to be able to be generated through the use of the slipstream, but as they barrel through Ravazza again, we're onto the going on to the 5th lap now, and I as I say, I have very little idea about the general tyre usage stats. Waffles dropping the bar for fastest lap. It looks like Konis being let by here by Pachuca. That was very easily done. Is Pachuca actually fighting this one back? He's not, no. Just wants to stay with Konis. So Konis getting into 2nd place now. Again, as I mentioned before, leading the championship. Pachuca with a penalty. Banks now with a penalty. And that's going to help Konis, who's only 9/10 of a second back. And we'll see what kind of pace Konis has been keeping behind his teammate now that he's been released. Waffles is again looking quick here and starting to close in on Pachuca. Beautifully through the Acqua Minerale corner goes Waffles, and his race laps looking a lot more consistent than his qualifying ones did, just managing to dial down the intensity sufficiently. And tell you who isn't, Casper, who's just caught a penalty for running wide yet again, and we've seen this so many times in the race already. Out of Ravazza 2 come our drivers, going on past the pit lane. Lap 7 now. Banks, Konis and Pachuca from Waffles, Casper, Giroud up to P6. Incredible stuff. I really should have been watching Giroud, shouldn't I? As he's now ahead of the chasing pack and has got a 3.8 second gap, and most importantly is on the favoured tyres at this particular moment. You'd imagine that the soft tyres starting to fade. It's a 32 lap race, so drivers will be hoping to get towards 1/3 distance and go for a one stop if they can. Time will tell, of course, but so far Giroud looking incredibly good in the race. Again, love to see his first few laps from his point of view. If he could post that in the chat, it'd be great to see that after the race in the Discord. And if it's especially good, maybe we'll get it on the Ero socials later in the week. So make sure you're following Ero on Twitter for mid-week updates. Banks P1, but now just 0.5 of a second, with Kones catching fast, and he now gets the first of the DRS. But Waffles with some great overspeed here forces Pachuca to defend up ahead. Kones getting ahead as well, with Waffles making the opposite maneuver behind him, taking Pachuca around the outside. So Kones promoted, Waffles promoted, both in the same corner and both about a second apart. So Waffles up to third with now a penalty, so making it a clean run, second to fifth with penalties. We've got a great camera angle now showing the gaps of the drivers as it's Waffles' turn to try and attack Banks. Banks losing the lead to Kones on lap 8, but he held on very well. Kones able to treat the soft tyres, I feel, a lot more gently, but bang, out goes Waffles off the track in Aqua Minerale. Easily done, wipes out his front wing, hopefully avoiding further damage to the car. Hit nose on. Waffles all the way down now into P9. Will have to pit. There's no option, cannot run the car. I'll be surprised if he manages to get back to the pits. But what a moment in the race to see Waffles disappear. What a shame, because he was driving such a strong race. But Giroud will be smiling in the helmet as he goes on through. A yellow flag is in sector 1. Up ahead you can see, I think that's Gonga who's having a problem further back in the race. So we'll ride with Kones. I think Gonga has managed to recover the car, but clearly got it wrong into sector 1, either through this Villeneuve chicane or Tosa. He was looking slow, but he's recovered back his pace. Almost a lap down now, Gonga, with that issue. Waffles in the pits, taking his pit stop. Will he be able to get the medium tyres to run to the end of the race? He's gone for another set of softs, so hoping, I imagine, for a safety car to rescue his race here. But soft tyres chosen by Waffles as he puts a new front wing on. Kones still in the lead, but not able to gap Banks sufficiently. Pachuca with another penalty, and they're really starting to add up now for the drivers. He's the first driver with a double penalty, Pachuca, unless you count Racing Us, who had a drive through for a jump start, but he's in P9 now. It's lap 9 of 32. The drivers hoping to get 1 or 2 more laps, I think, out of these soft tyres in order to make it a one-stop race. Banks looking very good here with the DRS. Forced to the outside on Kones. We've seen this one work for Waffles on the previous lap, and he gets by, but Kones with a good drive through there. No, Banks managing to hold on and successfully retaking the lead. And who would have seen that coming after he lost it on the previous lap? I was thinking Kones was likely to drive on through, but Banks with a massive tank slapper on the way out of Tosa, really struggling for grip. So while there's no way through here, Kones will be able to tuck right up behind the gearbox and try and live with the car in front through Aqua Minerale down into Variante Alta and try and stay with him through into Ravazza at the end of the lap. Let's see what he can manage. Macic gets a penalty, so now the majority of the field with time penalties for track limits, kind of expecting it. It's a new track to them. It's a narrow track and several corners where it's very, very easily done. Apologies if anyone is chatting on the chat. I can't see it. I've got a connection problem with my second screen. Banks makes it into the pit. So does Pachuca behind him. and they're the first ones to pit among the leaders. So that releases Konis to try and get some good lap times in now. But does that mean Banks will get the underlap? He's gone for hard tyres, so he's not confident on running the mediums to the end, getting 21 laps out of those, which is the remainder of our race right now. But it is Giroud, as looks like Prof Chen, moving in the mirrors of Ivan Belloff, who's moved up following those pit stops. But it's Konis, Giroud up to second place, sorry, from right at the back of our grid, 15th place, and he has made it all the way up there again, the leading medium runner, and certainly in a great position for the rest of this race, depending on how much tyre life he can encourage out of those mediums. If he can get through to lap 20, you fancy he's in a great position to put softs on for the end. In terms of who else stops, so Pachuca is trying to go and stretch the mediums to, I think, 21 laps, which is far from ideal, it would seem. Prof Chen, Jesper Fay, Konis all going through this trip through. Prof Chen still looking quick, and in fact is taking one of the medium runners, Ivan Belloff, using the DRS on the start-finish straight. Very comfortably performed. Clearly still got plenty of life in these old soft tyres. Racing us pits for his first real pit stop on lap 12. Great race we're having so far. Really hope you're enjoying it. If you are, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, and you can follow me personally at WebORed5 if you enjoy the commentary. Jesper Fay gets a penalty. Jesper with a great recovery so far, back up to P5 after being treated so rudely on lap 1 from racing us. Jesper Fay up to P5 now after those early pit stops from everybody. Really maximising his run. He's the third car in this battle, we can see on screen, and just patiently waiting now for these guys to decide to pit or action another overtake. Prof Chen unable to gap Ivan Belloff. In comes the Williams driver, but Jesper Fay stays out. He goes on to his 12th lap on the soft tyres. Maciek on mediums, looking good here in P5, as Jesper Fay uses the DRS, gets around the inside, the favoured line through Traguardo and Tamburello, and away he goes then towards the Villeneuve chicane. There's only single file traffic through the Villeneuve chicane. Giroud 2.8 seconds off the lead of Konis, who stays out yet again. Konis able behind his teammate to save tyres fantastically, and could well be the last driver to stop for tyres. We've got a yellow flag there just ahead of these cars, but I think it was the other Red Bull of Giroud just going off. Yeah, he's dropped the car out, as so does Jesper Fay. Jesper Fay looking like 12 laps is about the limit for these tyres, really struggling through Aqua Minerale just after his teammate did exactly the same thing on different tyres just ahead of him. I don't know if his teammate and he are in oh dear, it's all going wrong for Jesper Fay. Doesn't need any help into these spins, just overheated tyres. Needs to get the tyres cooled down again, back under operating temperature. He's fighting, but if he fights here, he could well lose the car again through Ravazza. I think he'll go into the pits. I think you see Konis on the way into the pits as well. Where will he come out relative to Banks, who's just going to pass the pit entry? Banks looking to action the undercut here. He's gone on to hard tyres, so has Konis. So this will be a straight fight to the end of the race. Konis just about side by side with Banks. Will they fight it? They will not. Banks getting the inside line, just getting the undercuts just slightly against Konis, who will struggle now on this lap to get the hard tyres up to temperature. But that is your de facto lead of the race. It's Banks and Konis currently in 4th and 5th, and after the pit stop window they stay close together on track, which is brilliant for us enjoying the race. Less good for them, who are hoping to get a gap on each other, I think. So up ahead, Casper on newer mediums, probably two-stopping this one. Maciek is in first place with Giroud's slow situation and pit stop. He decided to stop for tyres, I guess, after messing up that one set of mediums beyond a comfortable point. Maciek pits from the lead on the medium tyres, so the medium's not being able to live very long, really. 13 or 14 laps is not a lot longer than than we saw the soft tyres lasting. Maciek goes on to hards as well. The majority of the field favouring the hard tyres here, obviously not happy with the tyre life of the mediums. Looks like the medium's really not working as Konis takes Bankst for, I think, the second time tonight. And there we go, up to P3 now for Konis. This is the de facto lead of the race. You know already from the early part of our show that Konis is the leader of the championship as well. I think I'd love to know what his current situation is with regard to assists, because I think it was ABS that was causing the raised eyebrows among his peers here in the F3 championship. Like he was a little bit OP with one of the assists, but Ivan Belloff has the lead at the moment on 14-lap-old mediums. How far can he get into the race? How gentle has he been treating those tyres? It's lap 15. We're almost at half distance, but Ivan Belloff really needing to get to lap 20 before he can comfortably go onto softs for the end of the race. We'll see what he decides to do. I do feel like Casper in second will have another pit stop to make, and he's 11 seconds off the lead of the race. But so far, so good for Konis, Bankst, Giroud, of course, who's come up from the back of the field and is on terms now with the de facto leaders. Ivan Belloff getting 15 laps out of the mediums and pitting for hard tyres. So I don't think we're going to get anybody running softs at the end of our race, except perhaps Casper, who's only 2 seconds up the road. You see him flash by the camera. There is Casper now in the lead, but likely to be pitting again, almost certainly, in fact. And we'll see what his pace is relative to the hard tyre runners at the moment. 1.9 seconds the gap back to Konis, who's just creeping away from Bankst here on these hard tyres. Pachuca all the way down there in P12 after an issue early in the race, but the fastest car on track right now with a nice gap in front of him. But he'll be very frustrated because he was fighting right up there at the front of the field. Perhaps the most frustrated race is just ahead of him tonight, Jesper Fay, after 3 spins, one of which was caused by Racing Us, who has settled down into the race now after serving a drive-through for a jump start, Racing Us in 10th, with Edzak showing a good run of form, winning the previous race in Monza, but Edzak currently only in 9th and needing to get some strong points versus the championship leaders. Bankst is on another charge. He had DRS on the way into the first corner, but he can't make use of it, unfortunately, on this lap. Maciek gets by the Williams as they head towards that same corner, and I think Waffles getting by Ivan Belloff as well. So the soft running Waffles back at very aggressive racing speed, but of course he will have to stop again. We've got a yellow flag through the previous sector of the race. Looks like it's Prof Chen out off the circuit at least, but just scrambling back. Prof Chen getting down to 10th place. Jesper Fay couldn't make that one. Luis is here for Konis, so very happy that he's in the second place for the N2E team. Oh, looking loose again, Jesper Fay through that section. Now it's Aqua Minerale. Can he get the car calmed down in time? Yes, he does. So Jesper Fay now at P11 on 2-lap-old mediums, hoping to get to the end of this race on these medium tyres, I think. Slow up the hill out of Ravazza, out of the Variante Alta, I should say. This is Ravazza as we head down the hill again. 1 second the gap here. Edzak pitting again tonight, only running 14 laps on the hard tyres, So I wonder what if he's got some damage, because that doesn't seem like an ideal time to be pitting. Mediums he's putting on now, so not happy with the tyre life on the on 14 lap old hards, and that's concerning for our race leaders who have stayed on that tyre and were hoping to get it to the end of the race on a single stop. Casper running wide. Wow, seems like every time we look at Casper tonight he's going wide. N2E is native to Empire, is that right? Okay, that's the racing team for Konus. Slightly strange having a team name. I'm assuming it's a Portuguese and Brazilian team with that name, but does that why not in Portuguese? I wonder. Konus half a second back from Casper, getting the DRS. Will he be close enough to make a move? Nope, he's just piling the pressure on Casper here. He's got the favourable condition tyres, 4 lap old hards. Waffles pits again. That's getting rid of those soft tyres after just 8 racing laps. What will it be? Will it be mediums for the end, or another set of softs for Waffles? Konus taking a wide line through Tozer for best exit. It's a set of mediums for Waffles. Doesn't fancy another run on softs. Maybe he hasn't got a fresh set left to see him to the end. But really, for me, this is very interesting to see when the drivers will get their car pitted for the end of the race. What will Casper do in the next 2 or 3 laps, potentially? He's got the opportunity to go onto softs now. So he might well be the quickest car at the end of the race. But with gap to leader, let's take a quick look. Oh, the penalty situation is that at the moment, the gap to the leader. So potentially Casper likely to come out in the P8-9 kind of mark, unless something dramatic happens. So tyre life very important. 3 seconds each for the drivers, apart from Banks and Pachuca, and the only drivers driving clean tonight, Konus, Profchen, Edzak and Bananas. Bananas a long way back though from the rest of the field at this stage. Luis says native to Empire team are just Portuguese. Okay, tudo bem for you guys. Konus getting through after a problem through Tozer for Casper. Perhaps those mediums past their best. Coming up to lap Bananas boy here. He won't need to get out of the way of the drivers to avoid collision, but he really ought to get out of the way, blend out the throttle on a slower exit section of a corner, because the dirty air still affects the drivers despite the fact that the car is ghosted. Pichulo is here for Konus as well. Excellent stuff. Well, let's see some Portuguese flags perhaps in his honour as he retakes the lead of the race on lap 21 and should be in a good position for to see this race out. Banks hasn't managed to get by Casper this time out. Casper just trying to minimise losses. He now gets DRS, of course, until Konus gets away from him. I'll be hoping to hang on, but Banks looking good here, looking very quick. There we go. There are our Portuguese flags. Fantastic. Cheering for Konus, our championship leader, dominant so far in the season in F3. Hoping, I think, for a promotion at the end of this season. But he'll have to turn off that assist that causes so much difficulty. I think, is it traction control or is it ABS that Konus uses that the other drivers are not particularly pleased about? We'll see. So another driver catches a penalty. So we've got a clean sweep of penalties all the way. It's ABS. Yes, I thought. Okay, so ABS that is not popular. But hopefully he'll turn it off as we close out the season. I think he's sort of alternating on tracks he knows well and tracks he doesn't, which is fair enough. But Banks now looking like he might make a move on Casper, gets the inside line. So getting a better run through the first corner, and out he comes. Casper's tyres very old now. Surely it's time for softs, Casper. Let's hope so. And then he can be quick to the end of the race. Let's go down the grid slightly now that's taken place and see Ivan Belloff down there in 7th, but challenging Racing Us, who's had quite a recovery and a very dramatic race. And I would quite expect Jesper Fay to be putting in a report at the end of this one. Gonzalo Ferreira says, come on N2E. Vamos, I think. He should be cheering for Konis. Very pleased. I hope these are all teammates, are you, of Native to Empire. Ivan P7 just slipping back slightly here. So your order with 10 laps to go is Konis in the lead by 2 seconds from Bankst, who was our pole sitter. Casper in 3rd place, now pits for, presumably, it's going to be softs to the end of the race. Giroud from the back of the grid up to P3 now, promoted, and he'll try and hang on to that as much as possible by the end of the race. If he can get a podium out of this one, I'm sure he'll be a very, very happy Frenchman. Ivan getting promoted as he gets past Casper in the pits. Casper down to 8th. Will it be 9th? It will be 9th. I think he will come out in 9th place on soft tyres and be looking to be very quick in these final 9 laps. So Maciek in 4th, Racing Us in 5th. Ivan we ride with here in 6th place. Then Jesper Fay, dramatic, frustrating race for Jesper Fay. We'll be hoping to try and get those mediums to the end of the race here. I think Racing Us is going to struggle, if I'm honest, by the life. But it looks like about 14 or 15 seems to be the best they can do for medium tyres so far tonight. But we'll keep an eye on that for Racing Us, see what he can do on the tyre life. We've got Jesper Fay in 7th, Profchen in 8th, Casper down in 9th now, but will be quick on the soft tyres. 4 seconds his target to the next driver in front. And Pachuca, the second of the McLarens, from I think 3rd place he qualified, down to 10th at the moment. Waffles has pitted and running mediums to the end in P11. Again, we'll see how soon will the hard tyre runners start hitting that cliff. Bankst, of course, will be the first one, went on them very early in the race. And we'll see what Casper can do here. Already half a second he's caught the driver in front. Let's ride with Casper, because could well be going for fastest lap here. Eligible in P9, of course. In fact, let's look at lap data and telemetry while we see if he's going for it. He's certainly pressing ERS. Well, Pupitar says mediums can last 20 to 22 laps. We haven't seen it yet tonight. That's why I'm just questioning that. The drivers, no one's gone beyond 14, I don't think. So, very interesting. Maybe 2 stopping for the hard, says Pupitar here. Maybe. Let's see what we've got to the end of the race. Like I say, I imagine the hard tyre runners at the front of the grid will try and run to the end. But how slow will they be? Yeah, Casper 4 tenths up and a purple middle sector on this lap. I think this might well be our fastest lap at this stage. And if those runners are, if the quick runners are trying to get to the end, then this could be the fastest lap. And you can see his next target in front of him already. It's apparently it's his birthday today for Konis, so what better way to celebrate? So yeah, best wishes to Konis and all of his fans. Casper just spending everything on that lap, and is now struggling on the softs, so definitely went for it. You know, it was fun to see. So GG to Casper for that one. I think that's fastest lap nailed by a good margin. Yes, it is. He's got a lap car in front and then Profchen, so gaining significantly on that lap. Great stuff from Casper. Cut away as he goes on past the lapped driver. Bananas making his debut. So Pupitar says he has a race, and he did manage to get that kind of deg out of the mediums. So, well, not... Oh, Giroud out of the session. Giroud out on the exit of Ravazza. Let's see if we can see what happened to the car. We've got a safety car, our first safety car. Giroud looks like he's turned 180 degrees. Ivan Belloff into the pits. Maciek and Racing Us managed to get there in time. I fancy this will be a soft run to the end, a 7-lap run on the soft tyres. Beautiful timing for Maciek, Racing Us, Ivan Belloff. Casper's gone on through. He's only just put soft tyres on, so he makes up all those places. And this one could well bring a potential win to Casper at the end of this if Konis and Banks decide to pit on the next trip round. But wow, drama right at the end of our race. I was just wishing that someone would get close to another driver, and there we go. Giroud says he should do a supercut compilation of Giroud is out of the race. My apologies to you for that, and I hope you can continue to come back strong. But yeah, big shame to see you out of the race after such a strong turnaround from qualifying. GG up to this point. If the race was 26 laps, you'd be fantastic. Oh, cool. Pupitar, of course, I know live now from another league, so this is your second PlayStation account. Wow, awesome. Always helps to learn everybody's pseudonyms. I know who I'm talking to. Yeah, Banks and Konis have gone in, but they are so far ahead of Casper. I don't know if he will get out in front of them. Casper on his way out of Ravazza. The drivers in front are just on their way out of the pits. Casper has to drive it to a delta. This one's going to be tight on the exit. I think Banks and Konis make it out, so Casper up to P3, but cannot, unfortunately. Wow, we're going to close. The closing speed is pretty extreme under the safety car. The drivers need to be intensely careful here. Intensely careful under the safety car to not run into each other, and really they have to be super cautious when it comes to distances between them and the car in front. We're going to be under safety car for a little while here. I anticipate time to close the live chat, press like and come back, and even go and follow us on socials if you so wish to. Yeah, we'll have a calm before the storm at the end of the race. I think we might end up with potentially a 4 racing lap, maybe even just 3 lap sprint at the very end. Everybody on soft tyres apart from our lapped driver. We've got penalties to take into account. Banks got out ahead of Konis, who had a better pit entry, or got past him in the pits. A sticky situation in the pits potentially for Konis, who's lost the lead. Don't quite understand how that one worked, because pit stops are usually standardized. So maybe his in-lap was bad, or his delta was a problem. But Banks up to P1, Konis into P2 now, and Casper in 3rd. So let's take a look at the penalty situation. 9 seconds for Banks. He's going to be way out of contention and struggle to stay in the top 10 even after this this race resumes. So quite how Banks plans to do anything on this race is beyond me. The only drivers without a penalty are Konis and Bananas, in very different positions on the track. Here we go. Actually, we've almost caught the safety car for the whole grid, so hopefully we'll end up with a 3 racing lap sprint after this one has finished. So 6 seconds for Casper. That will drop him back. Yes, Buffet has 6 seconds as well. Pachuca with 9. So those 3 drivers will be a long way back after the penalties shake out. But Konis looking incredibly strong for another brilliant lap. Yeah, Lewis says that Banks passed somehow. I think that he passed in the pits and it was a legitimate pass. Whether Konis maybe had a front wing damage that he wanted to fix, perhaps that's the only thing that can really explain it. Love to see that one. Okay, Banks, so Pupitar's saying Banks passed him under the safety car in the first corner. Interesting. I didn't see it. maybe they're in a party with Konis and can hear that. But again, that will be reported if that's the case. He hasn't been told to hand it back by the game, but he may be demoted further after the stewards. Although I don't know how concerned Konis will be here, as he's a bit slow out of Aqua Minerale and gets a nerf in the back. Tiba says racing us equals GOAT. Well, he certainly had a strong recovery from a problematic start and first lap, shall we say. Go back if you didn't catch it, but you can watch from lights out. And yeah, not the best first lap, but lap 2 onwards, he's been very good indeed. I'll definitely give you that much. So Banks in the lead. We'll just check out from starting position. Maciek, though, making 7 places up. Ivan Belloff making 7. Everyone is going to start this one on equal terms. Banks with a slow restart. Casper trying to get up the inside, and Konis blocking that move as they head towards the first corner. Konis going around the outside. Doesn't need to do this, but he does it all the same. Decisive move from Konis, confident in his position, and gets around the outside of Banks. Beautiful restart from him. Maciek up there to get good points for Ferrari tonight, with his teammate just ahead, although they'll both be demoted after penalties. As I said before, this one looks like it's going to be a sting in the tail. 3 racing laps further back, we've got, is that Jesper Fay attacking Ivan Belloff down the hill into Toza. Sorry, into this is Piratella, the top of the hill, in fact, and Jesper Fay just dropping back slightly from the challenge. Oh, but Ivan Belloff slow out of Aqua Minerale. Jesper Fay almost driving through him to get out of that corner, and will be close. In fact, gave up a 3-second penalty. Jesper now on to 9 seconds of penalties. Casper looking close behind Banks. I didn't see a DRS notification, but we'll see with our own eyes if DRS is enabled as they pass the start-finish straight. It's not yet, so so Casper's going to have to do this one the old-fashioned way. Can't get close enough to turn 1. What about Jesper Fay? He's going to try it up the inside. Ivan Belloff is around the outside. Jesper Fay turns around for another time in this race, and out of the race. In fact, damage from another car hitting him. I didn't catch who it was, but Jesper Fay turned round, wheel off, damage into the second part of Traguaro corner, and that could trigger a problem if the marshals can't get him out of there. So lap 30 saw the end of Jesper Fay's beleaguered race, and down he goes. He may get a classified finish out of this one. Pachuca getting past him there. The car now cleared by the marshals, and Konis with the lead, 1 second lead here. We've got formation flying for Casper, Maciek racing us. Those guys, the rest of the cars gapping each other quite a lot after the last ones, but yeah, amazing situation for Jesper Fay there, losing it on presumably fairly cold tyres, not quite up to temperature. This is your battle for 3rd place. Casper with a 6-second penalty, Maciek with only a 3 at this stage, but it's still early days. We've got 2 racing laps to go. Giroud has gone from the session, unfortunately. I'm sure we'll see Jesper Fay do the same. Pachuca must have been caught up in that problem. He's in the he pitted last lap, might now be going for a bonsai run to try and get the fastest lap at the end of this one, which currently sits with Casper, I believe. No, Konis of course has nailed it right in the previous lap and gets P1 fastest lap as well. Brilliant stuff from Konis tonight, frankly in a different league in terms of everybody's performance tonight, and in so many other times in our season so far. Absolutely bossing it, and bossing it again on his birthday. Drivers now with DRS. Maciek hoping to get on the podium. might well do after the penalty situations have all been taken into account. The N2E boys not happy with Gonga's performance so far tonight. No, I think Luis just saying, if I read my Portuguese properly, I think Luis just saying he wasn't expecting, he didn't know that that Gonga would be here. So kind of surprised to look in the order and see another N2E driver. Lots of happy birthdays for Konis as he starts his final lap of the race. He's coming up to finish this one. Let's see some birthday cakes and some checkered flags for Konis coming out of Rivazza for the final time. Up the hill comes Konis to win the Emilia Romagna Imola Grand Prix. Round 11 of the championship going to Konis, racing us up to P2 with the penalty difference. What a drive from racing us lap 2 onwards. 30 laps of great racing from racing us. Then Casper in 3rd, Maciek in 4th position, Ivan Belloff getting 5th, Banks in 6th. After all the penalties taken into account, Banks down to 6th. Edzak gets 7th place. Not great for him, but good points nonetheless for the championship. Konis with the fastest lap. Waffles with drama throughout in 8th, and I'll take you through the rest of the order once we get there. And let's see who your driver of the day is, nominated by the game at least. Who's your driver of the day in the chat? I'm sure it'll be Konis for a lot of people, but Ivan Belloff gets that one, gets that honour from the game. A papaya win, a Konis papaya win. I hope his birthday cake is papaya orange. Maybe not blue, it's not a very nice colour to eat, is it? But winning the race nonetheless. Konis, congratulations, and well done. Parabéns to Konis, winning yet again in our season for Ero F3. And there he is, Portuguese driver with the fastest lap and the win, maximising the result out of tonight's racing. Racing us, though, in the Alpine, getting 2nd place from 7th on the grid, although with a drive-through and a potential asterisk next to this one. I don't know, will there be a report from Jesper Fay? I would have thought so. Casper in 3rd for Denmark, for his fan club who often join us here in the chat. Aston Martin getting the 3rd place from 5th on the grid. Maciek 4th from 11th. Ivan Belloff 13th from 5th from 13th on the grid. Then Banks, Edzak, Waffles, Prof Chen and Pachuca with the final point. Then Bananas Boy, and unfortunately we lost Jesper Fay, Giroud, Gonga and Kaizachi earlier on. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight, guys. If you have, please press the like button. Please follow me on Twitter at WeboRed5. Please follow Ero Racing on Twitter and subscribe to the channel. But thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to everyone watching. Pleasure spending the afternoon with you. Congratulations, parabéns, and happy birthday to Konis. And we will catch you on the next race day.